A long time ago, a video was published on this site called The 10 Biggest Spots in Extreme Rules History. It was my first video for What Culture, and just over 1 year later, here we are. Extreme Rules is once again around the corner, except now I'm twice as popular as Jesus and 10 times as rich. Isn't time magical? Well, considering we've covered extreme moments from Extreme Rules, and last year's pay-per-view didn't really add that much, except an admittedly pretty sweet chokeslam through some tables, let's look at the most insane and spot-filled bouts of all time. Honourable mention, I talk about it all the time, so Cactus Jack versus Triple H at Royal Rumble 2000 won't be on this list, but I love it forever. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and here are the 10 most extreme WWE matches ever. Number 10, Kurt Angle versus Shane McMahon. It really does say a lot that a match involving a man being repeatedly dropped on his head on the concrete floor is only number 10. Being the boss's son can't have been easy, but Shane knew how to earn respect backstage. I'm going to throw myself off all of the tall things. All the tall things. Sorry. SummerSlam 2000, Backlash 2001, these were bad times to be a spine, but if you want to talk Shane's extremist match, that would be his match with Kurt Angle at King of the Ring 2001. Shane was smashed through glass, cut to buggery, shooting star pressed himself through a trash can, and yeah, the infamous botch, being belly to belly into glass that didn't break before dropping to the ground onto his damn head. It's genuinely hard to watch at points, but credit to Shane, he wouldn't let Angle drop the spot, shouting and swearing at him to repeatedly throw him into the glass until it broke. The first pain took 2 attempts. The second pain took 3. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Number 9, TLC 2. In wrestling terminology, a spot fest is a match with lots of daredevilry and high-impact moves, but very little actual storytelling. The term spot fest is a compliment or an insult depending on your personal tastes, but what's objective is this. TLC 2 is the biggest damn spot fest of all time. At WrestleMania X7, the Adam Blampied of WrestleManias, the Dudleys, the Hardys and Edge and Christian put on one of the Captain Crunchiest matches of all time. Jeff being speared off the ladder, Lita wrecking Spike Dudley with a chair shot and then boobs, Matt and Bubba going through 4 tables. It's a spicy sauce. Number 8, Mick Foley versus Edge. Speaking of WrestleMania classics, this is the first appearance of Mick Foley on the list. It's not going to be the last! At WrestleMania 22, St. Mick, wearing a blue shirt, so you know he meant business, was trying to prove that he still had it, and by it, I mean a ludicrous disregard for his skin and everything inside his skin. Edge speared Mick while his torso was wrapped in barbed wire. Hey, he was wearing 2 shirts. Extreme! Edge cut his arm wide open. Edge then shredded Foley's head with Barbie. If you dream it, you can be it. Hashtag unapologetic. Also, thumbtacks got involved, but the screaming cherry on the mental sundae was the spear through the flaming table. As Joey Styles would say, oh my god. Number 7, Goldust versus Piper. Our trilogy of WrestleMania car wrecks concludes with this great heap of violent nonsense, the Hollywood backlot brawl at WrestleMania 12 between the bizarre one, Goldust, and the best street fighter in a skirt since your mum, Rowdy Roddy Piper. In terms of violence, it has its fair share, including Piper hitting Goldie with some of the stiffest punches in wrestling, before Goldust returns the favour by hitting the Not Scotsman with a gold car and speeding off. Roddy gave chase, and the match then pushed the boundary of taste by incorporating actual footage of the O.J. Simpson police chase a mere 20 months after it had taken place. Straight in there with the topical comedy. And then when the match got to the ring, they did the requisite sex stuff that a Goldust match demands. Bottoms were rubbed, Goldie was stripped to a full lingerie set, and the dudes kissed each other not once but twice. Ha 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 ha, gay panic. It may not have been the most bloody, but it was a shocking match for its time. Number 6, JBL versus John Cena. Juan Cena, El Campeón Invisible, is a man associated with parental guidance, bad shirts, and lame jokes that even your dad would read and go, that's a bit stale. But the dude shed his fair share of blood for the business, most of it during this match against JBL at Judgment Day 2005. An I Quit match for Cena's very silly spinner belt. The two men did very bad things to each other over nearly half an hour. Both men busted open, with Cena especially drenched in blood, covering his head and chest as JBL choked him out with an electrical cable. It was a match reminiscent of a back alley knife fight or a Newcastle wedding as it's known up north. Number 5, Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman versus the Dudleys. ECW, for all the tiny tots and Jack G. Kings watching this video, was a wrestling promotion from the 90s full of beer-filled men cracking a furniture warehouse over each other's heads. Also, New Jack lived there, him and his crazy knives. Extreme ECW matches would be a list unto itself, but let's focus on one from actual WWE pay-per-views. One Night Stand was the first and best use of ECW and WWE programming. They gave Paul Heyman free rein to give his extremely crappy wrestling one last hurrah, and it was a visceral, angry bellow of a show, raw and passionate and bloody. The final match on the card was drenched with the red stuff and nostalgia, and it was this: Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman teaming up on the Dudleys. The match starts with Dreamy and Sandy licking beer off the boobs of women at ringside. It escalates into a brawl with BWO, Axel Rotten and Balls Mahoney, R.I.P. both, Kid Cash doing a monster flip. Then in the match, Dreamy takes a cheese grater to the head, canes, ladders, a barbed wire tumbleweed ball comes into play, the Impact players show up, there's a powerbomb through a flaming table. It's all of ECW in 20 minutes, basically. Number 4, Randy Orton versus Cactus Jack. Mick Foley, good to see you again, I think. Backlash 2004, it's another hardcore match starring Mrs. Foley's baby boy, and this time he's severely shortening the career of Randall Orton. Mickles donned his Cactus Jack persona like Jason, putting on his hockey mask, and took it to the Legend Killer with all sorts of toys. Most of the match was basically just a threesome with Barbie, Randy and Mick. Then out came trash cans, thumbtacks, trips off the stage through some plywood, and hell, why not barbed wire boards? What a jolly old time. Seeing Orton's bare back landing on the thumbtacks, seeing them sticking into his arms and his fingers, was damn sickening. Number 3, Eddie Guerrero versus JBL. Speaking of sickening, this may not have the most hardcore spots of all the matches on this list, but it may be the hardest to watch. Judgment Day 2004 and the site of the most infamous botched blade job of all time. JBL struck Eddie with a chair shot, and Guerrero bladed way too deep, nicking an artery in his forehead. He lost so much claret that he went into shock backstage, requiring a blood transfusion. Ugh, look at this. Look at it. Just look at... Number 2, Mankind versus The Rock, I Quit match. Hey, talking of unprotected chair shots to the head, this match is also an uncomfortable watch. At the Royal Rumble 1999, Mankind, yep, Mick again, puts his WWF title on the line against The Rock in an utterly brutal match. Foley took a bump from an elevated seating level onto a bunch of speakers, kayfabe knocked out the lights in the arena, but the truly extreme spot came later, with The Rock repeatedly striking Mankind with chair shots. But Rock, that's where his brain lives. It doesn't matter where his brain lives. Foley's hands were handcuffed behind his back, and he couldn't protect himself even at all from the 11 damn chair shots off his dome. In the end, the assault split his head open. It's horrible, horrible stuff. Number 1, Mankind versus Undertaker, Hell in a Cell. He flew off the cell. He flew through the cell. Thumbtacks, chairs. The man's goddamn tooth went through his goddamn lip and goddamn lodged in his goddamn nose. Why would any of us... Happy Extreme Rules anniversary, everybody. And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Tell us about it in the comments. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter here. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and I'll see you soon. WhatCulture.com are releasing a new magazine about wrestling, and it's called Wrestling. It'll have 140 pages of timeless wrestling content, including a brand new How WWE Should Have Booked written by this virulent son of a bitch. It will also have a list of the 100 best wrestling matches of all time compiled by What Culture staff and wrestling insiders. So the magazine is available to pre-order now. Follow the link in the description and enjoy WhatCulture.com's Wrestling.